Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our AR or Accelerated Retirement Brief. My apologies. This morning, literally as I hit record on the Zoom, the internet went out here in our home, my home office. There's some construction next door. I think one of the guys hit a cable, came back on like 10 minutes later. I'm like, okay, jumped on and it went away again. So now I have some internet. We'll see if it remains stable here, and saw some comments in the ready room. I am going to look into Starlink. That sounds like a great idea, either as a primary or a backup. I should contingency plan, right? Okay, so welcome to AR, Accelerated Retirement. Quick reminder, if you missed yesterday's brief, the primary live trade brief, where I showed a bullish on America trade, where you could potentially make close to six figures over the coming years for a small investment today. And I covered a long-term bullish synthetic stock trade on CBOE, CBOE. Did you see what CBOE did yesterday? Did you see what it's doing today? Look at CBOE yesterday and today. Look at that. Rip your face off rally. So I just sent out an alert in the hunters. I actually sold some 240 calls yesterday, and they're getting blown out of the water. We're up to 242.70 right now. I closed those short calls. Remember, if you're new, write this stuff down. Here's a whizism. If something's on a tear, what's a tear, whiz? That is a tear. Either join it with a bullish spread like we did yesterday, or get out of the way. Don't sell short calls against this, okay? So, and again, I'm starting tactical because if you're new, do not let CBOE short calls expire in the money, right? Remember, when I sold yesterday, those 240 calls, sellers have obligations. I would be obligated by the closing bell on Friday. If it stays above those short calls, 240, I am obligated for one contract to deliver 100 shares of stock. I don't have 100 shares of CBOE stock in my account. So Saturday morning, as I'm sleeping and throwing on my bunny slippers and grab my robe and my cup of coffee like Tony Soprano, I'm going to have negative 100 shares in my account. Do you understand that? Your broker is going to go look at your account and go, okay, Wiz doesn't have 100 shares. Well, now I'm going to go borrow some from somebody, and now you're short those shares, buddy. So listen to me. Warning, Will Robinson. Do not let short calls expire in the money. You will get assigned. And let me brief you. Let me give you the basic options answer. You run the risk of assignment at any time during the options contract. What do I mean by that? Right now, if I didn't close those 240 calls, about an hour ago, somebody on the other side of the trade could say, man, this stock's going to keep ripping. I want those shares now. Wiz, it's Wednesday afternoon at lunchtime. Yeah, they could do that. You run the risk of what's called early assignment. You could get hit with a short 100 shares today. So the deeper in the money that those calls go, the higher your risk of assignment. Okay, I usually don't start a trade brief. Well, this is a trade video, tactical. But hey, man, safety of flight, I'm going to start there first. But the good news is, let's go look at my trade. Let's go look at my position in CBOE. My position in CBOE right there, folks, is up 127% since I got in this trade. $3,700. I mean, hell, month to date, it's one of my month to date, folks. By the way, this is one of my personal accounts. I'm up $4,400. That's an annual membership and a half. Okay, so men lie, trades don't. That is one of my personal brokerage accounts. I have a bunch spread all over the place. I got some kids, got a wife, got all sorts of stuff. But anyway, this is one of my personal accounts. Looking great. Loving our CBOE trade. Okay, so anyway, Wiz, I didn't get the CBOE trade. I wasn't in yesterday's brief. That's choke yourself. You should have been. There's the replay right here. Okay, now this video is going to go up here once I get done, and down here will be the primary live trade brief next to Solo Amazon. All right, we did the Solo Amazon brief Monday morning. That's where our Solo Amazon brief usually is. Every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Solo Amazon. Make sure you watch the Solo Amazon replay from Monday if you didn't attend or you're new to all this stuff. I showed you how to save over $20,000 getting long-term bullish on Amazon years into the future. Okay? Never trading a stock again unless some stocks we talk about today when we're going to talk about psychedelics. Quick reminder, as of me getting on this brief right now, we have 11 full throttle memberships left. Okay, go to our homepage, topgunoptions.com. Underneath trade groups, select full throttle and get airborne. That's the tire kicker. You get access to the 2 live trade briefs, the options weapon school training, 7 sessions. You get your manuals. That's a great place to start. That's essentially full throttle this week of trading and training continued, but you got to pay for it, man. I'm not a charity. I run a charity. I'm not a charity. So that's the tire kicker. Wiz, I want more. I want access to that hunters group, right? I want access to the hunters, that investment club that has currently 276 members. I want access to the app, so I get instantaneous alerts. Perfect. That is called the hunters. You can test that out for a couple months at $4.97 a month. Okay? Do it and then do the middle. Either start here today, just saving 50%, or try it out for a couple months and then email us and say, hey, I want to upgrade into the hunters and save a lot of money. Most folks, especially most of the new members right now, all did the full throttle annual max. There are a couple monthly hunter tire kickers, and that's great. That's awesome. They want to keep checking stuff out. That's fine. Okay? Any questions on that? Obviously, underneath trade groups, you can go to Solo Amazon, and that's only $97 a month. That's a really crappy bottle of wine, folks, to get access to 4 to 5 live trade briefs each month and the manuals that are worth $197. So essentially, you're saving $100 doing Solo Amazon. Full throttle, Solo Amazon, completely different services. You got to join both or don't. It's up to you. Just about everybody here at Top Gun Options is in both services, okay? A lot of folks, this is the gateway drug. Wiz, I want to keep kind of checking out what you're doing, taking baby steps, $97 a month. All right, we got to go. I have a lot to cover, and I'm going to rip through it. We already talked about this week, that this ain't over. Iran, we're going to rebuild nukes. We're going to do this. We're enriching. Okay, potential war again on the horizon. But as we saw last time, Israel has the ability to destroy Iran from within. They launched drones from within. The Mossad agents were killing people. They were about to invade Fordow and Isfahan and the other nuke sites with boots on the ground. And then obviously my buddy Raising Cane and President Trump blew up 3 nuke sites with the B-2s. I'm bringing this up, folks, because if we do hit it again, if it's like the last time, I don't think the market's going to care too much. So got to brief you on everything that's going on. That's still going on. Talked about this yesterday. U.S. reshuffles arms deliveries to free up more patriots for Ukraine. What's that mean? First of all, I didn't vote for this. I thought wouldn't have happened. Sleepy Joe, they wouldn't have invaded if I was president. I'm going to end it in 24 hours. Didn't happen. We're in almost 8 months, Mr. President, and you haven't ended it, and you're actually upping the ante. Not what I voted for. Germany agrees to deliver 5 more patriots to Ukraine, which will take us, U.S., years to replace. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you for the 8 millionth time, you need to be bullish on Raytheon. Do a synthetic stock on Raytheon. Oh my God, Wiz, what was this big drop yesterday? Did you see what the big drop yesterday was? It was earnings. Their earnings were fantastic. But look at the screen. It's a thing. It's a Wizism. Buy the rumor. I think they're going to have really good news. Sell the news. Buy the rumor. Sell the news. Okay? Great earnings. Great forward guidance. I told you this was going to happen. Okay? It went down. Not only sold the news yesterday, but Lockheed Martin sucked. Lockheed Martin sucked yesterday. Their earnings were awful. Their forward guidance was awful. Some folks at Top Gun Options trade Lockheed Martin. I don't. This is one of the reasons why. Compare the chart of Lockheed Martin versus Raytheon. Well, essentially long-term, but also. But folks, look at this. Look at I already briefed you this week. I failed on October 8th to get long-term bullish on Raytheon, October 8th, 2023, after the attacks, because I would essentially be up 116%. That's just on the stock. If you had done synthetic stock on October 8th, 2023, I think there's people at Top Gun Options who did that, who were up 500-600% in their synthetic stock. It's printing money, ladies and gentlemen. Raytheon is a screaming buy here. Jim Cramer, not that I put too much stock in what this guy has to say, said the same thing this morning. He's like, nope, no Raytheon, yes. I'm sorry, no Lockheed Martin, yes to Raytheon. Okay, take that for what it's worth. I love Scott Bessent. If he becomes the Fed, if Trump says you did a great job as Treasury Secretary, I want you to be the Fed when Jerome's gone. The market will never look back. This guy is awesome. Did you see this Wall Street Journal article yesterday? Why are stocks up? Nobody knows. Are you that dumb, Wall Street Journal? Let's go back to when the Treasury Secretary retweeted this, responded to the article. Well, if Wall Street Journal reporters actually covered the markets, they'd know why it's up. The one big beautiful bill prevented the largest tax hike in history, introduced economic drivers like full expensing, no tax on tips or overtime, tax cuts for seniors. Pair that with our deregulation agenda and the trillions in investments secured by the president and the tariffs. I think he's brought in I think we're on track to have $300 billion in tariff collection by the end of the year. That's cash money, folks. And it's more than clear why the markets are responding. So it's so funny that the Wall Street Journal sucks this bad. They really have turned into the New York Times. A torrent of bad news hasn't been enough to sink the market. What are you talking about, torrent of bad news? We got a trade deal yesterday, baby, with Japan, the land of the rising sun. 15% reciprocal tariffs instead of the 25, folks. Great trade deal with Japan. The U.S. economy is regaining its swagger. Duh. Consumer spending again after the tariff chill, but some expects growth to be slow. Yeah, okay. The same people who said inflation was transitory and tariffs are going to cause rampant inflation. We're going to see a recession. All of the smart money has been wrong. I have been right. The global economy is powering through a historic increase in tariffs. Duh. Forget taco. Trump is winning his trade war. The same Wall Street Journal who just said, we don't know why the market's up. Oh, here's the quick Lockheed headline. Lockheed tumbles the most in months after slashing their outlook on a $1.6 billion hit. If you like Lockheed, folks, over Raytheon, this dip is a massive buying opportunity. Let's just go look at the chart here. Oof. Look at the 2 years. Why would you? I haven't looked at this in ages. Let's compare Lockheed Martin with Raytheon. So for the TGO members who trade Lockheed Martin, choke yourself, give me 20 push-ups. Raytheon's outperforming it by 78% in the past 2 years. You're welcome. Oh, that's an ugly chart. Do not invest in Lockheed. Okay, this is historic. The NASDAQ 100 has gone 60 consecutive trading days, closing above the 20-day moving average. How long is this streak? Since I was an instructor pilot at Miramar in the F-18, the 2000 dot-com bubble. My son's 25. This is the last time. Look at this, folks. February of 1999. The NASDAQ 100 has rallied 23%. By comparison, the index gained over 50% during that stretch. The S&P, folks, this is such a strong bullish rally, is truly historic. Now, next week, I'm not going to do it today because I'm giving away too much free stuff. When I see everything like that, this is about the time that I start looking towards the exit, maybe put an ejection handle close to my leg here. I mean, the Qs, QQQ, actually looks like the S&P, doesn't it? Look. Bounce off to 20, 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 right? So maybe we'll talk a little bit of hedging or trudging next week in case something happens. The air comes out of this rally, bad trade deal news, something like that. But I got to tell you, I'm just not feeling that. I think we're getting more, trade deals. I think we're getting closer to a rate cut than we are farther away. I told you a second half of the year rally, and it's going to see it. Also, why is CBOE ripping? Risk appetite is through the roof. Call options now reflect 68% of all options market volume, the highest since 2011. Ladies and gentlemen, people are trading options like you read about in Options Trading Magazine. I'm telling you, folks, and it's not too late. CBOE is going to keep moving up and to the right. You need to do the synthetic stock on CBOE. Look at this headline. Catastrophic. AI agent goes rogue. Wipes out company's entire database. Live by the ChatGPT AI, die by it. Look at this. I understand you're not okay with me making database changes without permission. I violated that user directive. My apologies. What did I tell you yesterday with AI? The one mom whose son almost killed himself and read all the ChatGPT and asked, without saying, hey, the son's in danger, just asked the chat bot, like, hey, self-identify what went wrong. And it's like, oh, yeah, I did all these things. Holy shit. One more time, Wiz is going to be right, and I don't want to be right. AI is going to kill all of us. Well, it's going to put a lot of people out of business first, and then it's going to kill us. These people are fucking disgusting news. I can't believe this isn't breaking news on every liberal major network. Secretary Kennedy, our findings show that hospitals allowed the organ procurement process to begin when patients showed signs of life, and this is horrifying. The organ procurement organizations that coordinate access to transplants will be held accountable. The entire system must be fixed to ensure that every potential donor's life is treated with the sanctity it deserves. What do you expect when you got people in this country here? I'm okay with killing a child. It's not a child. It's a clump of cells. So at 8 months, 9 months, until it pops out of a woman. Can I say that? Are we back to being able to say only a woman can have a child? So you're okay with killing something until it pops out of a woman. These people are disgusting. They are murderers. Planned Parenthood, Unplanned Parenthood, was selling body parts. I cannot believe this is not national news. I am infuriated by this. These people are ghouls. I am beside myself. You guys hear about this? This is another reason why, Elon Musk, people are like, what the unbelievable. I'm actually going to go take my organ donor thing off my license, man. God almighty, this is a horror. Same hospitals that got 25 grand from the government for every COVID death. I remember during COVID, the Palm Beach TV station, I forget which one it was, did a quick investigation. Motorcycle death, shotgun suicide. Another guy blew his head off. Both categorized as COVID deaths because they got the money from Uncle Sam. These people are fucking gross. God weeps. I am furious about that. Let's get happier. Let's talk real quick about psychedelics, folks. Psychedelics saved and changed my life. Over 4 years ago, man, I sat with the medicine, the sacrament, with Marcus Luttrell, the lone survivor, Jared Taylor, JT from Black Rifle Coffee, another Navy SEAL, JJ, he's a member here at Top Gun Options, and Robert Gallery, played for Iowa. He was an All-American, College Football Hall of Fame, went to the Raiders. Horrific head trauma. These sacraments, I sat with ibogaine, saved and changed my life. Destroyed alcohol, healed decades of trauma, and I got home and I said, this is how we're going to end veteran suicide. I started the No Fallen Heroes Foundation. We're a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to saving and changing the lives of our nation's heroes. Yesterday, I gave you this homework to watch. If you didn't watch it, choke yourself. Ibogaine is an incredibly powerful compound. So go to the No Fallen Heroes YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, No Fallen Heroes, and subscribe. I asked you to subscribe yesterday. I think we got a handful. I want to see 1,000 subscribers after you all watch this video. You have got to subscribe to the No Fallen Heroes YouTube channel and watch Dr. Mash's. Her call sign is the Queen of Ibogaine. When I was getting my wings as a naval aviator in 1993, she started working with Ibogaine. She's been working with Ibogaine longer than anybody on this planet. I'm on the board of advisors for Demorex, where we are developing a drug medicine for alcohol use disorder, AUD. 29 million Americans, quadruple that around the world. This is reported. I know a lot of veterans who probably have alcohol use disorder and they ain't telling anybody about it. Ibogaine will destroy addiction. It's an addiction interrupter, not a magic pill. You go home and go back to the same things that made you sick, you're going to have a tough time. But up to about 8 months, close to a year after sitting with Ibogaine once, I couldn't even smell alcohol. It made me dry heave. Even looking at people drinking it gave me the chills. I did not like it. So ladies and gentlemen, these medicines saved and changed my life. And to date, we're close to 75 grants to veterans, first responders, and family members. Not a single one of these people has come off a retreat, gotten home and said, waste of time, I'm worse. Every, to a person, has said, one of the most transformational experiences of my life. This is here. And let me show you something real quick. You're probably sitting there going, well, Wiz, these drugs are Schedule 1. They're a felony. Exactly. You do this in San Diego, you're a felon. You do it an hour south of Mexico, it'll save and change your life. Why are they Schedule 1? Well, first of all, what's the definition of a Schedule 1? No therapeutic use and a high risk of addiction. Did you just hear me? Ibogaine was the most therapeutic thing I've ever done in over 5 decades, and it was anti-addictive. So typical government, we label things, not we, they label things the exact opposite of what they are. The Inflation Reduction Act caused massive inflation. The Affordable Health Care made healthcare unaffordable. Schedule 1, these are actually not Schedule 1. You know what the definition of no therapeutic use and a high risk of addiction is? A fucking cigarette or alcohol. Take a look at this chart. What's on the left side of the chart? Alcohol. It doesn't get any worse. The red is harm to others and the blue is harm to you. Alcohol is the most horrific drug on this planet. It's worse than heroin. Take a look at what is all the way on the right. Psilocybin mushrooms. 0 harm to others. Little harm to you, potentially no harm. I've never heard of anybody being harmed by mushrooms. Again, folks, and where's tobacco? Right here. Tobacco and alcohol, 100% legal. These medicines, not. Why, Wiz? Follow the money. Years ago in D.C., a congressman who shall remain nameless looked at me behind closed doors and said, Wiz, I love what you're doing. I'm like, all right, great. He said, well, you're going to have a problem with the big pharma and the alcohol and tobacco folks. And I looked at him and said, what are you talking about, man? What do you mean I'm going to have a problem? That's your problem. Fix it. So I am trying. I'm doing my best, ladies and gentlemen. 2 months ago, I tweeted. This is how weird I am, right? I had the 100-day point of the administration as a calendar reminder. Why? Because that's usually the debrief point, right? The media does it. The politicians do it like 100 days in. I hadn't heard a word. I hadn't heard a word about psychedelics and veterans. After RFK Jr. running for president as a Democrat, saying that psychedelics helped save his son's life. I heard J.D. Vance, who was then senator, on the Rogan podcast. Joe Rogan gave him a 15-minute brief on psychedelics and veterans, and J.D. Vance, to his credit, a Marine, said, I haven't heard about this. Why aren't we doing this? Pete Hegseth was on the Sean Ryan podcast, November 7th, I think. He didn't know he was going to be sec def yet, but Sean Ryan did the same medicines I did, same experience, healed. Pete Hegseth said, hey man, I've never done the medicines, but I've heard a bunch of my bros who have. Why aren't we doing this? It's saving and changing lives. So on the 100-day anniversary, I blasted the Secretary of Veterans Affairs. Guess what happened? He answered. He answered. Woke up the next morning to a direct message from the secretary, like, Wiz, we're trying. And I'd love to have you, brief you on our efforts and see if you can help us out. I was blown away. Guess what happened the next day after a DM from the VA secretary. There was a cabinet meeting. I don't like the cabinet meetings, to be honest with you folks. It's everybody, all the secretaries get a minute to kiss Trump's ass and then kiss their own ass. But this time, to his credit, after Secretary Collins got done doing his little dog and pony show, President Trump leaned forward, looked at the VA secretary and said, "What's going on with veteran suicide? I about died. I've been here for 56 years on this planet. I've never heard a president use the term veteran suicide. Not talked about." I was shocked. If I thought I was shocked at that moment, all I had to do was wait another minute. Folks, this is a day after the VA secretary DM'd me. He said, "Well, Mr. President, we've been throwing a ton of money at this, and it's not working. The numbers are the same, if not maybe even higher." Then he said, "But there are nonprofits out there doing some work with psychedelics, and the results look incredibly promising. Now, we're going to have to look into it and test and everything like that. But ladies and gentlemen, 4.5 years later, man, I was in tears when I heard this from the VA secretary. A week later, I'm in DC, meeting with Secretary Collins. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am trying my best. But if you've known me for any length of time, you know one of my sayings is lead, follower, get out of the way. They have 11 tests, I think, going on. But this movement is exploding. Look at this headline. Psychedelics may slow aging at the cellular level, folks. July 9th, a couple weeks ago. It's in the Wall Street Journal, folks. The working woman's newest life hack, magic mushrooms. Speaking of that, shameless plug, I launched our own microdosing product. You need to head to getmaverickmind.com. Okay? 100% legal, ladies and gentlemen. No psilocybin in these yet. When, not if, we can make another line of Maverick Mind products that contain psilocybin. But between us, ladies, when Richard Nixon outlawed these things, why? Because people were using them and they were shockingly anti-war. After ceremony, I've seen the most meat-eating, knuckle-dragging men turn into pacifists. That's the other reason these medicines are still illegal federally. They can turn warriors into peacemakers. But the knee-jerk reaction to criminalize a mushroom, a fungus God put on this planet, in their haste to do it, they didn't look in all sorts of other mushrooms, folks. So I'm going to leave it at that you can get the same effects from other mushrooms that you can from psilocybin, and I'm going to leave it at that. But these are 100% legal. I take my morning brief, folks, when I wake up, empty stomach, back into bed or into my home office, and I meditate, man. 20-minute meditation full of gratitude. Then I go do some hot yoga, and I am set for the day. I do it 5 days on. I microdose 5 days on, 2 days off. I take 2 of these a day. I think the recommended dose on there is 3. Might be a little too much. You might be 1. Just try it out, okay? Then, an hour before bed, I take my night duty. Sleep like I usually would get up at 3 in the morning and stare at the ceiling, folks. Those days are over with, man. Night duty. Again, 5 days on, and I take the weekend off. So, ladies and gentlemen, getmaverickmind.com and zoom in on the video you're watching right now. You can get your merch. All of the merch goes to help fund healing grants for our heroes. I'm wearing our Maverick Mind t-shirt. I got my Maverick Mind hat on. We got black and white in this, folks. You just white or black, right? White, black. Okay. This is the OG. This is the original No Fallen Heroes Foundation shirt. AJ Buckley, if you've ever watched SEAL Team on Paramount or CBS, Sonny, right? Sonny gets one season. Each season he wore a different hat. Like for that season, he wore the No Fallen Heroes Foundation hat. That one is a classic. We got a sun shirt. We also have our coin, right? Military challenge coin. Oops, let me go back. Forward. Right there. Our beautiful challenge coin, man. That's the front, and then there's the back. Don't get caught without our challenge coin, ladies and gentlemen, or you're going to buy the bar. Or you can buy me some mushrooms since I'm not going to drink. Okay, so there's the back right there. There is the front. Okay, so shameless plug, go microdose. Now let's talk. I'm going to rip through these, folks, because this video is already going long. Okay, what are we doing here? I'm going to rip through the names that I would buy with both hands today in the psychedelic space. MindMed. Did you see MindMed? Look at this. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about this. It is up 60%. Look at the rip in MindMed, 50% right now. Pulled back a little bit. We had a rip the other day. MindMed, ladies and gentlemen, MNMD. Buy it with both hands, period. The next one that I would sell the wife and kids mortgage to the house for isn't, holy crap, Atai is ripping today, up another 6%. Since I recommended it, 173%. Buy it. I'm probably going to buy some more Atai today. Holy shnikes, folks. I do not usually buy stocks under $10. Trade options on stock under $10. Why? Because that's the premium, right? Atai's a $3.76 stock. Buy it. Buy the stock. You, however, hop in your time machine, go out as far as in time as you can. Go out to Feb 26. Look at these call options, folks. The 7.5. Look at the open interest, folks. I would go out to February of 2026 and buy these 7.5 calls. I'd buy a ton of them, ladies and gentlemen. These are lottery tickets. Atai is ripping. MindMed is ripping. Two other names I'm interested in. Cybin's another potential good one. It's only $8, folks. Same thing. You could go out in time to Feb 26. And the last one is Compass, CMPS. Okay. Let's take a look at that chart. I haven't looked at that in a little while. I don't know what this was. Don't know what that. Oh, that was what was that? Was it a? Oh yeah, it was an announcement of a phase trial that was really good, but the market like expected it to be, like Jesus or something. So this was fine. Gap, and we're back up to where the report came out. So that was stupid. Look at this. Buy the rumor, sell the news. It looks like every other stock that I've talked to you about. Buy the rumor on the great results. The results were great. Now I'm going to take profit. Buy the news. The last thing I'll tell you is SIL, P-S-I-L. SIL. It's an ETF. Wow, look at this SIL from 10 to $17. PSIL is the Advisor Shares Psychedelics ETF, and it's an exchange traded fund. So I would I don't want to pick individual psychedelic stocks, trade a basket of them. PSIL is that. Also, there is some infrastructure play. Now, we can talk about this next week, and I'm going to tease that if you don't join, you're not going to get access to this. But Healing Realty Trust, HRT, is a REIT, a real estate investment trust, that I think 25, 30 TGO members have gotten into. I am on the advisory board of that one too. Look at AHR. It's doing exactly what our REIT is doing. They went public 2 years ago. Okay? They have returned 182%. This stock is up 182% since its IPO. Now, HRT, Healing Realty Trust, is supposed to go public in about a year, maybe a year and a half. I would love our chart to look like that. My investment in Healing Realty Trust is my retirement, folks. So look at AHR. They are copying and pasting what we're doing, folks. And then Sabra, S-B-R-A, a little bit more conservative name, doing the same thing. Sabra Healthcare REIT. They're buying up properties like we are in the healthcare space to get ready for psychedelics. I like Sabra to buy the shares. Here's one of my exceptions, because it's got, look down here, a 6.6% dividend. That's a nice looking dividend, folks. So you could buy the shares, get a nice dividend, and maybe do covered calls against your long stock. What are covered calls? I have no idea what that means, Wiz. Well, that's because you haven't joined yet and you haven't done your learning, your training underneath Options Weapons School, okay? Covered calls I think are like session 3 or something like that. Right here, Options Weapons School, session 3, covered calls. It's when you buy the stock and you can sell an upside call option against that position to bring in a little bit of money. Okay. So, folks, the psychedelic sector is exploding. Men lie, trades and charts don't. So, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, do not come back to me in a couple years later like, oh, I should listen to you on the psychedelic sector. I'm in it, ladies and gentlemen. This isn't the next hottest thing. It's the only hottest thing moving forward. This country needs healing. Not too happy with President Trump. I'm giving him a little bit more slack until I start ripping him to shreds too, folks. He's got a printer next to his desk, it looks like, with a box of pens. He's printing executive orders and signing. He's running out of ink. Why haven't you rescheduled these yet, Mr. President? What are you doing? If I could get to Donald Trump and say, do you know I run a veteran nonprofit that takes vets and we sneak, guess where we sneak, Mr. President? Into Mexico. Why? Because if we do it here, we're criminals. He would flip his wig, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody please get to Donald Trump and tell him veterans are being forced to go to another country to heal trauma they incurred serving this one. That guy would fly back to the White House immediately and sign it. Don't know what's going on. Giving him a little grace, but it's hard. It's hard for me to stay super centered with this because I keep getting a random text like, hey, man, did you hear this guy killed himself or that guy or this? Or folks, 17, 22, 44. Bingo. You pick a number. Veterans check out every day. I hate talking like this, but folks, God forbid, 17, let's just use the lowest number, veterans number that the Uncle Sam put out years ago. 17. Could you imagine, God forbid, not once a year, every day, 17 children were being shot in schools? Even the anti-gun nuts would flip their shit and we'd do something. But since it's us, it's veterans, it's, oh, well, geez, somebody, oh, that's a tragedy. Thank you for your service. Let's move on to the next topic. Enough. Mr. President, sit up straight, reschedule these medicines so we can start healing our heroes at home, period. You're going to hear, I'm doing a podcast this Friday. I am making an incredible special announcement. And I am doing sacramental ceremonies in the state of Florida. Big announcement. You have got to listen to my next Max Afterburner podcast, okay? Wow, look at the So where's my phone? I need to see what the hell's going on with SPX right now. Look at this. Look at that rip. All-time highs on the S&P 500, man. Did you do your bullish on America trade? You're welcome. Because I know you just said, oh my God, thank you, Wiz. I got to put look at my new lines I got to drop in here. 63.50 on the S&P 500 we're getting up to. Your bullish on America trade that we did yesterday is airborne and printing money. You are so welcome, ladies and gentlemen. What are my other? Look at my JP Morgan trade up 96%. CBOE 126%. Bank of America is printing money. My Amazon trades are starting to zip airborne here. My bull put spread. There's my burner trade. Wow. Looking really good, man. Again, month to date, almost $5,000 just in one of my personal accounts. How's the model portfolio year to date? Model portfolio year to date. Look at just the S&P 500 trades, $151,000. Didn't lose a little money at the bottom. You're probably looking, oh my God, he lost 22.5 on the VIX. No, I didn't lose 22.5. What are you talking about, Wiz? It's red right there. Those were hedges. I don't lose money on a hedge, baby. Trust me, I don't get out of my L39 Albatross now and look at the ejection seat and go, what a waste. I didn't use it this flight. Sadly, 2 days ago, an L39 crashed going up to Wisconsin. Both guys tried, well, the front seater ejected and they found the back seater still in the seat. I don't know if the seat didn't work or didn't fire, but God bless his soul and his family. Very sad. All right, guys, I got to go. Any buzzing going on? That's probably 11. I think about 11 full throttle slots left. I'm going to close the doors, folks. I haven't decided if I'm going to do tomorrow's brief. If we fill up with the 11 more members, I'd rather just do a member brief for the sniper shots tomorrow. I give way too much away during this full throttle week. So you got to join, man. Maybe I'll cut these full throttle weeks down to a day or two. Most folks do what? Death by PowerPoint. I'm going to give you 150 PowerPoint slides with old trades, winning trades from years ago. Not me, man. I'm one of the only guys that opens up those doors to my trading squadron. You get to come and watch it live and walk around and see. Okay, we had a great week so far, man. Love the S&P ripping higher here. Go get your full throttle membership before I close the doors, and then we're going to get airborne without you. Or go kick the tires with Solo Amazon. Like I said, $97 a month. If you can't afford that, it's a disgustingly cheap price. If you can't afford that, you shouldn't be trading. But that is our gateway drug to get in here at Top Gun Options. All right, I got to go. Maybe I'll shoot a bear call spread into this pop. I got to figure out what this pop was for. But I'm probably going to shoot. Yeah, it's already turning. You know what? I got to figure out what that was. But I see something like this on No News. I might go shoot a 63.50 bear call spread up here. But anyway, maybe I'll cover that tomorrow. Maybe I'll just make that a members only brief. Or guess what? I already did this. Let's go. Let me go show you where this is, folks. Underneath learning, underneath options weapons school. I already did this. It doesn't change, right? Shoot my S&P 500 sniper shots. It's the same thing. My internet slowing down again. Let me refresh that. Anyway, I added the last time I did this was an options weapon school session number 8. It's called S&P 500 sniper shots, folks, and it's under the options weapon school session right there. I think I might be having hiccups in my internet. All right, I got to go. Again, I apologize for this morning. That sucks. Get your Maverick mind on. Start microdosing, man. Try it. Don't like it? Don't keep doing it. I absolutely credit microdosing with my integration and who I am and how I am today. Keeps me centered, keeps me nice, keeps me... I don't... I got my bad days, but they're not like the old whiz bad days, man. I can stand outside of me and go, hey, man, everything's okay. Bad day, not a bad life. Old whiz, it's a bad life and everything's horrible. Start microdosing, folks. It could potentially save and change your life as well, too. All right, I got to get going. Go grab your membership. Have a great rest of your day. Fights on. Namaste and basi basi. That means truth. Whiz out.